Yeah. So, as you guys know, Raptor Tank is sponsored by the Macklin Business Institute, and we are joined today by a member of the Macklin family, Mr. Don. So, if we could just welcome him today, he's here for our working today. So, he is very supportive of Macklin as well as Raptor Tank. So, he's supportive, and we really appreciate that. So, without any further ado, I think. It looks like we have a new contestant. So, he wants to introduce himself.
Welcome, Paul.
It's my small dog, Paul.
No, don't. It's too overwhelming.
All right. Yeah.
So
So
we
what
are
you
not
got?
Autumn and Riley.
That
We
is
had
not us.
some trouble. Yeah.
That is last year's host. We had some issues with the PowerPoint, and it wouldn't let us change the names for some reason. So, as you guys, we were going to put it up front, but we can take no credit for making this presentation. Professor Weiser and Raptor Tank host from the past put it together, and it's been helpful ever since.
So, all right, this whole entire workshop is designed to helping your idea get across to the judges and the audience through a visual presentation. And we will discuss some of the things that are really important in including and steps and ways. We'll also be passing around some worksheets to help you out later on. All right, so one of the really important things to help get your point across is storytelling. People love stories, they're very visual, and it helps that stick in their mind. So when you're telling a story, it's really, when you're telling your business idea to potential investors, or in this case, the judges and the audience, you want to make it into a story. I mean, from ever since we're children, like, we're mesmerized by them. So it just, that's going to be very useful in helping to get your point across and then potentially winning some money.
All right. So when you're telling your story, when you're telling people about your business, you're going to consider who you're talking to. So yes, you're going to have the whole audience there of 200, 300 plus people, not meaning to scare anyone. So you're going to have a huge audience there, but also, whose attention are you really trying to grab? Judges. Yeah, that's who your audience is. So that answers the who are they. So what do these judges care about? Can anyone help answer that for me? Yeah.
They want to know that you're serious about your business, and that if you don't have the skills to make it happen, you know how to get people who do have those skills.
Yeah, that's very well put. I agree. They care about you running a successful business, you being successful. If they're going to invest money, if they're going to be the winner of the competition, they care about you having a well-run business. What do they know about your business? When you go up there, you're presenting, what do they know? Who can tell me? Nothing. They know nothing. They have no idea what you're talking about. It's just a brand new idea to them. So you want to tell this story in a way that, yes, you're speaking to successful entrepreneurs who might know what it's like to build a successful business, but they don't know about your business. What makes yours unique? Do you want to get in the door real quick for Professor Weiser? Thank you. And something that you want to think of is, what do you want to leave them with? What do you want to leave the judges with? What ideas about your business? Why should you be the winner at the end of the day? That's kind of what you want to leave the judges with.
Just to add on to that, one of the ways that I like to consider that last point is also, how did you make them feel? You know, we all know that famous quote, people won't remember what you did or what you said, they'll remember how you made them feel. So that's one other really important thing to consider. If you're having, you want to look, I mean, I'm sure you all are passionate about your business, but you want to get that across so effectively that the judges then are just as passionate about it as you. All right, so there are a few stages that are included in kind of creating your presentation as a whole. The first step is just the core message that you have. So you have one of the things that you want to say. And we used an example of Starbucks, so it's kind of like, what's their core message? They provide quality coffee, they originated in Seattle, Washington, and that they're an international brand. And through that one core message, you want to use visual metaphors, because once again, people are very visual. So that's how they will really remember the information that you have told them. So this is, and then the structure. So that's just kind of putting it all together and making it pretty, and as the cherry on top, it combines those two things. And in this example, we have Starbucks. So for example, through here we can say, what is Starbucks? They make coffee, obviously. We have a map, and in Seattle, Washington, so that's where they originated. And then we have this expansion, beautiful expansion. And in just that image, it kind of made it so much easier to understand what they were trying to get across. It's simple, effective, and not a lot of words. Actually, no words in this one. So.
Yeah, so the design, that's a big part. As Amalya said, like a simple image, something like that, that's a really cool, just showing how Starbucks has expanded. That really just, it can say a lot there's no words on that slide, without saying anything. So you want to have a good design to your presentation. You want it to be captivating, you want it to be eye-catching, but you don't want to overdo it. Have you ever seen a presentation where people have like one thing come flying in and then another thing comes like shooting up? I was guilty of that in like sophomore year of high school, and everyone laughed at me. It was fun. So you don't want to overdo it, because then you're just going to distract the audience. You're going to give someone a headache, and it's just they're not going to be paying attention to what you're saying, which ultimately, you're trying to get your point across about what your business is.
One of the other things, we will talk about this later, but I just wanted to bring it up. So you see how in this case especially, it's kind of hard to see these words that are in white, right? So that's one of the things you also want to avoid doing, and you want to be careful in the wording that you choose. That will be also on the next slide. We'll probably repeat that again. But the background as well, and how those words, the text that you use, appears on the back. So if somebody's in your audience and they're sitting all the way in the back, just consider how they're going to see everything. And you want to make sure that everyone's able to read whatever you put on the slides and whatnot.
All right, so I'm sure everyone's driven down the highway, driven down 95. Everyone's seen a billboard before, right? Driving down. So how long do you normally look at a billboard?
30 seconds.
Does it say up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're literally looking at a billboard for it's like a split second, it's a couple seconds, but doesn't a billboard catch your eye? Doesn't it, isn't it captivating? Whether it's like Chick-fil-A next exit or whatever it may be, billboards always catch your eye. But the thing about billboards is they're simple. They're maybe a couple words, maybe, exit 27 has a Chick-fil-A, but it's not like Chick-fil-A provides chicken sandwiches and not burgers. And it's a simple billboard. It has pictures. It has a big cow on it, and it sticks out to people. So again, as we mentioned today or before, images, just diagrams, those are really important.
So once again, images are powerful. Why say something when you can just put it up and show it and express it? So whatever, instead of trying to explain, let's say your prototype for something, just have a picture of it up. That's going to help people kind of connect the dots and understand it. And like Gabe said earlier, you are speaking, technically the people that you're trying to focus and get your point across is the judges. And while they might be experienced, you don't want to assume anything. You don't want to assume, oh, he knows what this prototype does or means. Just show them pictures. Explain, like Professor Weiser says it in her class, you think of it as you're just trying to explain your idea to an 8-year-old. So you want to make it simple, and images are a great way to do that and to help with that.
Another big thing is typography, just your letters, your font. So what makes this slide stick out? Just different font sizes. This is our big topic here. We just have different examples of different fonts. So yeah, change it up. Don't get too wacky with it. Don't make it something like Roman, I don't know what it's called, but where it's like barely legible and like you cannot read it, all the cursiveness, or the cursive, that's not a word.
I understand.
Yeah, so make it something that sticks out, make it something that an audience can read.
Oh yeah, and feel free, this isn't an essay, you don't have to stick to Times New Roman, you could do something more interesting, but just as long as you don't go over the top with it. And additionally, symbols. I mean, this is why emojis are so popular. It's because with that one image, you just said like 5 different words. It's a whole sentence in an image. So when it's applicable, use it, but don't overdo it. So maybe an arrow would be nice, to show like you went from here to here instead of writing it out. But once again, don't overdo it. Simple is the best way.
Yeah, information. So having information, so you can list, in 2016 I did this, in 2017 I did this, 2018 I did this, and this is what I expect to do in 2019. That, I mean, it's just on the board, it's on your presentation, but what if you had like a cool diagram showing it? Graphs, diagrams, maybe having a line showing, look, I'm being profitable and this is how, let me show you, and having a line, going up. Just having different things that stick out instead of just having words on your PowerPoint.
Especially with the financial aspect of it, even if you don't have already like a running business, this is where you would use your expectations. So whatever you expect, your expected revenue, your expected loss, diagrams are the way to go. Using graphs, anything. Last year we had people do like really awesome things where it was simple, then we did pie charts and everything. So just, once again, visualize it as much as possible for the audience.
Yeah. Before I forget, last year in the presentation, I don't know if some of you guys may have watched last year's final competition. People had videos in their PowerPoints. They might have started with a video. They might have had a video in the middle. So yeah, just different things that might make your presentation stick out and help you get your message across.
Do you mind going back for 1 second?
Yeah.
And just speaking, just those 2 websites.
Oh, yes.
Tableau can take
Yeah.
Excel
Yeah.
and make that data, we call it meaningful, visualize it in a great way, and same with PictoChart. And even Prezi now has a tool to make any type of infographic. Again, think about that 8th grader. They might not read your chart so clearly. So any way you can visualize your data for that 8th grader will be helpful. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for
Thank you.
catching that. All right, so structure. Once again, going back to the whole story thing, you want to make sure that you have all of that it follows a clear path. And you want to make it cohesive, all flow along. You don't want to say like, okay, this, and now that, and now that. Make it like flow, like just a nice wave, and combine all of that together.
All right, so now to the actual speaking. So why is public speaking important? Well, for all these reasons. Not only will it help you in the competition, but we're hoping that things you learn today and in the competition and qualifier day will help you just in life in general, in future presentations you may have, be it in school, a presentation you might have in class, or at work sometime, or in a career you may have. Public speaking is a good thing to have. Being a good public speaker is, it's really beneficial in many ways. So I'm still working on that, by the way, if you guys can't tell.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a mic on the presentation day.
You will be mic'd. So they will mic you, and that's actually one of the things that we'll also talk about and have Danielle talk about your attire, even for the rehearsal, because it matters what you wear just for MCTV on how they put the mic on you. So, yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought I saw a hand. But yeah, and imagine if you do this in front of 300 people, like, you're invincible. You did it. Like, what's scarier than that?
Yeah, so we're gonna go in a little further detail on that.
Yeah.
A little bit. So.
All right, so one thing that's kind of going back to everything, conversational. You don't want to sound like a robot. You don't want to sound like you're reading an essay. You want to think of it as if you're talking to a colleague and you're explaining them this awesome idea that you're passionate about. Here's some similarities and differences between public speaking and then conversation, but you don't want to make it seem too formal. You're not like, sup dude, how are you, here's my business. You want to keep a nice balance, but once again, don't sound like a robot. Be professional, but then make it seem as if you're talking about it like you know it. Don't be a robot.
All right, so back to what I mentioned previously. Who are you speaking to? Who are the main people you're trying to reach? The judges, right? So you're trying to reach the judges. Make sure you're making eye contact with them. You don't want to be looking up. You don't want to be looking down. You don't be, just going around the room. You're trying to reach the judges. make sure you're looking at them. When I look around the room, and I do it too, like I'm in class, my professor looks at me, like you'll nod your head, like yeah, I understand what you're saying. So that's a big one too. If you see the judges doing that, that's definitely like a thumbs up. You have their attention. Look for people's facial expressions. If they look confused, if they look, they don't really understand what's going on, maybe they're not following your story. Try and explain that maybe a little better. I know it's a lot easier said than done once you're up there, but try and focus your presentation on following that story, so you have people captivated and you have people following your idea.
And if eyes make you nervous, like eye contact, look at their foreheads. That was one of the tips that was given. Yeah, so whatever works for you, but you do want to make sure that you acknowledge each and every judge at least at one point in your presentation. Yes, once again, storytelling is everything. It's why music is so popular. It's why books and movies, everything's story. Everyone loves a story, especially one that they can relate to. So if you get that across, you have a very good chance at just capturing the judges.
All right, yeah, so be clear about what you're saying. You don't want to ramble off. You have 5 minutes at the end of the day. You don't want to ramble off and talk about your marketing too much or your financials too much, and then not touch on anything else. You might get up there and you might stumble. That's why it's important to practice, so you're clear on the actual presentation day, and you touch on everything you want to touch on.
All right, confidence. Fake it till you make it. If you come on stage kind of like shriveled up and, oh, hi, the judges aren't going to believe you. They're going to think, oh, this person's inexperienced. They're not confident in their ideas. They're not confident in themselves. And then you're just going to lose them at that point. That's why confidence is everything. Even if you don't have it, just fake it. If you ever at one point thought we knew what we were doing, you're wrong. But we're just good at faking it.
Fake it till you make it.
Yes. Fake it till you make it. So that's one of the things. You want to exude confidence, and just it'll change everything. Sometimes people who have so much confidence, they'll come on and just just complete nonsense, and people will believe them. Like, it's that powerful. Not saying that you should talk nonsense, talk reliable facts, but this confidence is just gonna up your game, definitely.
Yeah. So we're gonna be up there too with the finalists presenting. We're going to be presenting, we're hosting the event. Yeah. So we need to take from this too.
Yeah.
We're trying to work on it ourselves and get better ourselves. So definitely confidence is a big one. We're excited for it too. We have some jokes in mind. So you guys have heard a lot of our corny jokes, so you're used to it. But Professor Weiser.
Do you mind, you said fake it till you make it, right?
Yes.
Do you mind sharing some ways that you look confident even maybe
Sure.
when you're not feeling as confident?
Yeah.
One of the ways is body language. So once again, hello everyone, I'd like to pitch my business idea, versus if you stand up straight, just even something as simple as that, coming up and being like, hello everyone, how are you doing? Today I would like to share with you my business idea. That makes a whole just difference. I notice in videos sometimes my posture is terrible, and it just looks sad. Like, it just looks like a question mark, and as if I'm questioning my whole life. So it's like, straighten up, they always say, control the room, right?
Yeah. Earlier today, Amalya was sitting down, and I was doing something on my phone. Amalya's like, you look like a question mark, stand up straight. And I was like, okay.
My mom always told me that. The foreign parents, they're always like, stand up.
Yeah, but definitely, I know, like you said, you sometimes see yourself public speaking, and you're like, oh man, I should have done this. If I look back at this video, once we have it, I'm like, man, I should have done this, should have done that. So that's another thing, practice. Speak in front of a mirror, take a video of yourself. Just take a video of yourself, look at how you speak, just your body movements, your body language. Don't do this. Definitely. Don't stand with your arms crossed. That's a big one. Shows like you don't, it shows the judges and the audience, maybe you don't really care. Maybe you don't really want to be there. I talk with my hands a lot, so some of you might do that. There's nothing wrong with that. At least I don't think so. But
just not too much. Not if you're like, hello.
Yeah, you don't want to be distracting.
Then
but,
that's,
Yeah.
And eye contact is also another sign of confidence. You know, if you're scared of people, you're not going to want to look them in the eye. So just remember to do that as well, or their foreheads. You know, they won't know the difference.
So yeah, as I said, practice. Definitely practice. What we do for Enactus, which is part of, Raptor Tank is part of Enactus, is if we're presenting, they say 15 minutes a day. Just 15 minutes a day. You can do it in the shower. You can do it in the car. Just recite what you're going to say. Obviously, that's like following a script. If you know what you're going to say and you're coming up with what you're going to say, that's a lot easier. Because you don't have to follow it word for word. If you know the common idea, you can kind of come up with what you're saying. So yeah, practice in front of your family members, practice in front of your friends. Take a video of yourself and watch it. It's 5 minutes at the end of the day. So.
In addition to the practicing, like actually physically going up and doing it, visualization also helps. Like if you picture yourself on that stage and performing, that helps. I mean, I've heard numerous times that it actually helped, and it helped me when I was presenting in front of the advisors to just kind of calm the nerves down a little bit, because then when you do it, you're like, oh, hey, I had this in my head already. Like you're more comfortable. So in addition to that, I think that would be helpful.
Please remember when they say practice that the judges also will be asking questions. So you want to look back at prior years, see some of the questions they've asked, and be prepared. Practice answering questions, because that's the other half of what you're doing on the stage.
Yeah, so once again, while there are other people in the audience, there's family members, students, etc., the judges are your main audience. They're the ones that you really want to get your point across to.
Yeah. So as Professor Weiser said, you want to be clear, you want to be to the point, you want to make sure that the story you're telling about your business makes sense. You want to make sure that what you're saying, that you're captivating the audience. The audience, the judges may have questions at the end, and they most likely will have questions. So be prepared for that, and don't feel bad if they don't have questions. That just means that you answer their questions in your presentation. So be prepared for either one. They may ask questions, they may not, but yeah, they most likely will. So be prepared. Just be clear about your business idea.
All right. So once again, we have passed this around before, but we made some more copies just in case you need it. This is what this is the judging criteria, their rubric. This sheet exactly is what they will have on their tables when they're looking at your business, and they're going to be circling each category and making any additional comments. So you're not completely, going into this blind. You know basically what they're looking for and how they're going to be grading you by. So this is a good tool to just help and prepare for that, to remember it, and then so you can kind of even think of the questions that they're going to ask.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the presentation, we talked about what does the audience want to see, what do the judges want to see. We just basically gave you a cheat sheet. This is everything they want to see. So if you answer these questions in your presentation, then that's going to, just help you 100%. Once again,
be prepared. As long as you include all of those things, and I know it's tough because you only have 5 minutes to present, and it's a lot of information. You're pretty much saying your whole entire history, the story, the future goals, and whatnot. But the way you can do that is just to, once again, make it into a story. And then once you have that effective presentation, then that will limit the amount of questions that you have.
Yeah, so now any questions you guys might have right now. Obviously, you guys all have, we send you guys emails all the time, which we want to apologize for last week. There was a little error with the recording, which is why we sent the PowerPoint out. So sorry about that, but hopefully that was helpful as a reference. So any questions? Yeah.
When you guys were presenting last time, last year, what things do you wish you could have done better?
I did present. That was Amalya.
Personally? Oh, okay. So I'm actually glad Mr. Lang isn't here. I mess up my words sometimes, because I try to sound a certain way, and I completely messed up the name of my business. I said something completely different, and I didn't even notice it. So I only learned later when Mr. Lang told me. He was like, "You said something else," and I was like, "Oh no, that's embarrassing." So I wish I would have just prepared more for it, just to kind of even said the name over and over again, so I didn't end up messing that up. And then also just taking a deep breath in beforehand, because that'll just relax you and just calm the nerves a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with being nervous also. Like, it's good to be excited. Be excited about it. Like, you're doing an awesome thing right now. So just any way that you can calm those nerves and use them effectively. That's just that was what I wish I would have done better.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I think part of that is probably preparation.
Definitely.
Right? Yeah. Just the more prepared you are, the less nervous you're going to be. Any other questions?
We'll also be around because we do have an open lab today. So you could come and ask our advisors any questions, but then also us. You know, if you don't want to ask in front of everyone, just come by. We'll be sitting here. We'll probably be walking around as well, so just catch one of us.
So faculty speaks in front of a group every day when they're teaching class.
That's
So
true.
they are super helpful. They can tell you a lot better than we can about speaking in front of a group. So, yeah, feel free to contact them. Next.
So we'd also like to have Danielle come up, to talk about to talk about some of so we will have your presentations, the ones that you will present during the rehearsal, which is the 14th of November next week. We will have them be due by Sunday. What's the date? What's the Sunday? This Sunday.
Sunday the 11th.
Sunday the 11th by 11:59, and we have a Google submission link that we will also send out to you, so then you can just upload your document there. But we will have Danielle come up and say some of the requirements for it as well, and we will pass around this sheet. Yeah.
Before Danielle starts, just as a reminder, this event is open to MC, family, and friends. So there's not restrictions on parking. It's free. You can invite your family and friends. So like Natalie Wilson you met earlier when the workshop started. She was our second place winner, and she was third place. Sorry. She was amazing. She had so many people. I think she had like 20 or 30 people with her son, people from her church. Like, she had a whole crew there. What a good way to not feel so nervous when you have people you know who you can look to in the crowd. So you'll have the faculty support. We'll be there. You can see us smiling. The bells on. You've met some of the judges, which is different than prior years. Gabe and Amalya will be right, saying, "Hey, good job," right on the side of the stage with you. But please invite your friends and family to come and watch you. This is your day, and so take advantage of that. They're allowed to be here.
Another thing. Oh, go ahead.
So I remember the audience choice winners, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
The Donut Shop Collective, they invited like all of their friends. I swear, like every single person in the audience, well, like the majority of them were already wearing their gear, and that's probably why they won the audience choice. So if you make it to the final competition, invite as many people as possible and have them vote for you, and that's like a guarantee right there. Yeah.
Danielle?
And
Yes.
also, if your families and friends cannot come, remember we are streaming live on Montgomery College's Facebook page. So if you have a Facebook account, you can share that with the world, and we hope you do. We're gonna go live at 3:55 on November 28th. So while you're sitting there, just go to Montgomery College's Facebook page. It will show up a graphic saying Raptor Tank Business Pitch Competition. You can just like and share, and they will have the link for the competition for the entire 3 hours that we're gonna be live. So this is very important for us. Your PowerPoint presentation is very important. Amalya and Gabe did a great job here. So if you follow these, you should have no problem. Who is gonna be using PowerPoint? Majority. Okay, how about Prezi? Just her? Oh, okay. Have you used it before? Okay. So the tricky part with Prezi is that you need to be able to download your presentation. I believe you have like a few days of trial, and that will be free for you to do. So just make sure you don't leave that for the last minute when you submit your presentation. You wanna make sure that you got that down before the deadline, maybe a day before in the morning. You cannot just send the link, and then nobody will be accessing the internet during the presentation. So we need you to be able to download. So just make sure when you go there to the Prezi and see, which one you want to download. They will say you need to pay something. There's the free one. So just pay attention to the days. You don't need to pay anything if you use during the trial period, but just make sure you download. So nobody will be using Keynote Speaker, right? Everybody is between PowerPoint and Prezi. Okay, sounds great. Those are great. If you allow me to say a few more words. Gabi, Gabe and Amalya will be giving to you these note cards, the Raptor Tank note cards. So you're gonna have them on stage. So for rehearsal and also for competition.
Can I say something about those?
Yes.
So it costs us a lot of money to print those for the college. They've already printed a large amount of them for all of you. When you're doing them, I suggest you print on a different piece of paper, tape it onto there like that, and be careful that you don't flip it. Some people tape it, and then when you're holding it, the card's upside down, which doesn't look great to the judges, doesn't look good on TV. So just be careful about that when you're placing onto it, and don't just write right onto it, because we all make mistakes, and then you wasted one of your cards. So please be careful about that when you're writing on those.
Yeah, another thing I just want to quickly mention that we have some of them. Danielle was kind of to drop those off and give that to us. We totally forgot them. That was our fault. So we're gonna give it to you guys at the rehearsal day. But since you guys don't have access to them, so for the rehearsal day, you can bring your notes. Like, you don't have to memorize what you're gonna say.
Well, they're upstairs, right? They're in 208.
The office is locked.
Right, but we have plenty of time before then, so if you want to and you want to start preparing with those Humanities 208, so just upstairs where we are right now, usually open 9 to 5, you can drop by any time before the rehearsal day and grab a few. Okay?
Thank you.
Another important thing for rehearsal. So let's talk about mics. So you're not gonna be holding any mic. It's a wireless mic. We're gonna clip it here on your jacket, on your shirt. So your hands will be free. If you need a note card, you'll be holding your note card and speaking to the audience. So that's just for you to know. Ladies, that is important for you, because if you choose a dress we can work around, but you have to be wearing something that maybe a belt that we can clip it on the back, or your dress needs to be, of a fabric that is a little thicker that we would be able to clip. And worst comes to worst, we would have to clip it right here and it'd be sticking out like this on your hair. So if you have short hair, that would be a problem, because every time you're walking like this, that thing will be sticking out like that. So just for you to know.
Just don't do it. It's invasive too. I always mess up and wear a dress and they get all up in there. It's just not fun, having strangers running wires on you.
So yeah, just be aware of your shirt, or if you want to bring another set, just in case you have trouble with the one that you're wearing. It never hurts to be prepared. So that's good. So clothes and mics. And then my question, Hannah, and Amalya and Gabe, is everybody arriving at 2:30 p.m. on November 14th, next Wednesday? Is everybody who's gonna pitch will be there at 2:30?
Have you gotten any problems with that?
So
Have you gotten any problems with that? Have you also?
So if you are unable to make it at that time, if you could just see us right after this presentation to let us know. So it's 2:30.
We have a time slot from 2:30 to 5 that day.
Yeah.
We understand that 2:30 is like a different time than when we meet, so we don't expect everyone to be like, yeah, like I can be there.
Is it November 14th?
14th.
So next week, next
week,
Wednesday.
Yep.
So if
Okay,
you have
so
an
yeah.
issue with that, please make sure you talk to Gabe and Amalya so we can try to coordinate around it.
Mhm.
It's good for you all to be there to see each other. You usually get lots of ideas from seeing the people around you
Yeah.
and getting that feedback. So usually you all want to be there.
Yeah.
But if someone can't be there, like Allison, until 4:30, we're going to try to make that work for you. So.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we would like to know that too, because your order and that you'll be presenting in will affect that as well. So if you could maybe make it at the end, we'll just put you last. So and that way it will work out. We'll also send you the order in which you are going in probably by Monday
Yeah.
of that week, of next week.
And-
Yes.
Sorry. Another reason that we want your presentations by Sunday at midnight it's so that if we have any issues loading it up, we can let you know and fix that so it's ready to go on Wednesday.
And we want to compile all of them together into one. Go ahead, Zenas.
For the rehearsal, are we presenting just in front of, who are we presenting in front of?
You're presenting in front of the faculty, the Raptor Tank advisors.
Okay.
So yeah.
None of the other contestants?
No, that is well. What do you mean contestants? Like participants?
Participants.
Here? Yeah, they're gonna be there
Okay,
as well.
okay, okay.
Yeah. So you're everyone that is in this room plus I think like 3-4 more people, you'll be presenting in
Okay.
front of.
Is it like the full dress rehearsal or like?
So
It's a dress rehearsal and qualifier, so just to clarify, not
Yeah.
everyone goes on to the competition day. And so it's really important that you treat that like it's the real thing, because that's how the faculty will be judging if it's the real thing. And if you don't get that presentation in by Sunday, 11:59 p.m., you're not going to be able to be in the rehearsal day qualified to competition. So we love all of you. We all want to support all of you. You'll all be eligible for the incubator for funds. But if you want to be in that competition day, just get that presentation in early and make sure you come ready to go. Because unfortunately, we can't have everyone at the competition day.
And I also asked that, so you should come with a similar outfit that you're going to be wearing on the competition, or even the same, whatever you feel comfortable with. Why? MCTV will be there with our truck, our engineers, almost our entire crew. 80% of the crew will be present for this rehearsal. So cameras will be there. We're going to be fixing problems and all, and also taking a picture of each team.
Are they gonna be filming?
Yes, we will be filming, but it's not like you can ask us later for that recording or something like that. We are just testing the equipment and make sure that everything will work on November 28th. So, maybe one of you will go upstairs and the audio sucks and it's bad. Maybe you're gonna go upstairs and everything works just fine. Maybe your PowerPoint will have a problem. Everything can happen. So, yes.
I'm sure you just said this, but I was writing down the time and I missed it. You said upstairs where?
It's Theater Arts Arena.
Theater.
The Theater Arts Arena. Does everyone know where that is? The big building where the flagpoles are. The arena right there.
And she mentioned upstairs is for you to pick up this. This is upstairs.
Yeah.
Laura.
In 208.
208.
Oh, wait, I got that.
kindly, Joe from MCTV also sent us this like how to appear your best on camera, just some like quick little advice that we'll pass around. So if you could just take that, that'll also help out.
Just to re-emphasize what Danielle just said, which is so generous, MCTV is going to make sure to take a professional photo of each team, which is awesome for you to have for your business and for your personal lives to throw on LinkedIn and things like that. So they're going to take that picture on rehearsal day. So, come dressed as you want that picture to be. That's a nice benefit that they're providing. And thank you again for doing that.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, so we touched on that. Let me just see. Anybody now that Gabe and Amalya talked, like, oh my gosh, I want to have a video in my presentation. Anybody wants to have, like, thinking right now, I'm going to have a video in my presentation. So if you decided to have a video and you want to have any music in that video, you need to talk to me, because then we will provide a music for you. If there is no music in your video, then you're fine. Just make sure you're not using something that's copyrighted. We will see on rehearsal day if we see something in there that's like, oh, we have a problem here, we're gonna talk to you. So just keep in mind that we are broadcasting on the channel, we are streaming live, so we have to be very careful. We do this a lot of times. We had issues in the past, not with Raptor Tank, but with other events. So we try to be very careful about these things.
And just to clarify, because I've gotten some confusion about this before, Facebook Live is one place this is going to be, so that's worldwide access, which is amazing, and live access. The other access point, when she says MCTV, that means both on like, hey, I know we all like Netflix, but like regular television, it's channel 10.
Channel 10,
Channel
yes.
10, it'll be airing on that. So like, if someone in your family likes to watch, regular TV, it'll be on there. And then also, you can access it online. So there's a couple places where it's going out to thousands of people, which is awesome for you guys from a marketing standpoint.
We stream 24/7 our channel online on YouTube. It's 24/7. So yes, So that's why it's so important. Usually it's YouTube who is gonna give us the problem. So just for you to know, we had a festival called the World of Montgomery. They blocked us. We're blocked because they found the music in there. Well, we don't choose the music, right? We are covering performances, people that will perform on 2 stages. So just for you to know, the link right now, it's not available to watch because we gotta clear and see whether we can do something to put available or not. So that's why we don't want this to happen to Raptor Tank.
And then on that note, be careful what you're doing on stage with all that filming. You know, we just want to look out for you guys. Be professional, be ethical, be appropriate. Someone can take a little clip of you doing something that you maybe shouldn't have been doing, even if it was just for 10 seconds, and suddenly you're like the next meme, or you know, you've gone viral and you're laughing. But what the last thing we would want is to Google you and have that be the first thing popping up when you're looking for transfer and job opportunities. So please just keep that in mind. That's
Have you seen
a
else can
big
ruin your
viewership.
life?
Be careful what you're doing on camera. Be professional.
So just to one thing that I forgot to say, we are also on Comcast 998, and on RCN we are 1058. That's in HD. So moving on to the next item, interviews. Okay, so I have mentioned to you, I think on my first day here, that after you pitch your idea on stage and the judges go to the deliberation room, I will interview the teams that have been selected for the final. If it's 8 teams, I'll be interviewing each team during that 30 minutes. That's how we keep it live for the 3 hours, right? Like for the people who are in the arena, there will be raffles and other things, for people to be entertained, other things to see. But for our online audience, we also have to keep them busy. And we keep them busy with commercial breaks and interviews with the contestants. So we divided it depending on the amount of groups that will be in the final. So let's say if we have 8, Hannah usually tells me the judges deliberate for 30 minutes. So we kind of play around with that time, maybe a 4-minute break and then an interview, a 4-minute break and an interview to keep filling that time, right? That time slot. So be ready. I will ask you something about your pitch, something that the judges said to you, and I will for sure ask something like, so what is next? If you win the big prize, or if you win any amount of money, what you're gonna do for your business? How does this money help your business? What is next for your business? Something along those lines. So be ready to answer, that question. That I will definitely ask. How you are going to spend that money. Okay, so Facebook at 3:55. We go live at 3:55 on November 28th. I have usually mentioned this a little bit earlier. I think we mentioned about social media, but during Raptor Tank, we have been very active on Twitter. I don't know if you guys tweet. In the past, the other hosts have tweeted, #Raptor Tank. So it's for something more like you're in that specific place. People are sharing that experience with you, are tweeting about the event. So if you are a Twitter user and want to do that, that's up to Gabe and Amalya whether I don't even know if they have an account or not. If they don't, then they
I have like 5 followers, but I'll.
That's okay. That's a start. It's a start. So we can all be sharing and writing, tweeting, and so that's also another way to engage. Anybody has any questions?
For the interview, do we get like questions beforehand, like just in case?
No, I will tell you. I will probably say something to you before we go live. But remember, that's like 4 minutes, right? It's like, and I'll probably have somebody in there to help me and to bring, the next team to me. So it's really quick. So like I said, it will not be any question that you don't know the answer. It will be something that happened on stage, a comment that the judge said something, like it will be something about your presentation and then how you're gonna, if you win, how you're gonna spend your money, and probably 2 questions for each team, something like that, 2 or 3, but it will be something natural.
One more consideration we've mentioned before for all of you: if you are selected to compete on that day and you want to sell, if you have some kind of product, if it's a T-shirt or cupcakes, and you want to sell them there, you we need to start talking with our leads now about that, and we can set up a booth for you, and you can do that there. So that's something we approved last year and did for our finalists last year. So please start talking to them. You know, on the qualifier day, if it doesn't go so well and maybe you don't get to be in the competition day, we might be able to offer you a booth still to sell or just kind of build brand awareness. So please talk to them if that interests you, and that's something we can help set up.
Teams had a lot of success with that.
Yeah, they sold a lot of product,
Yeah.
which was fun, or just got some interest. People kind of knew where to go after the presentation if they wanted to learn more or connect, so that was cool.
Yes, so this is it.
Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you,
You're
Danielle.
welcome.
So yeah, that's it from us too.
Yeah.
Open lap.
We want to
Yeah.
open it up to you guys. Work with each other. Work. If you have any questions,
Two other
faculty can help you. Just
I'll pass
open it up to you.
Yeah, one
You
of
all.
them.
So
Yeah,
open
so
up.
we have Professor Bake in the back, Professor Blumen, and Professor Colvin, and then